Thank you, Mark. And thank all of you for being here today. It's so nice to see everyone in person again with some not masked, so it's good to be here. I would like to thank, first of all, Mickey Loomis, Dennis Lauscher, Jeff Ireland, Kyle Harley, and Michael Parrington, and everyone who participated in this process for their thorough, determined hard work and diligence in this search. When Sean announced he was stepping down 2 weeks ago, our group quickly went into action, outlining a plan and identified an exceptionally qualified group of coaches to interview. I would like to thank each of these candidates for investing so much of their time and consideration as they shared their vision for our team. Making a decision on a head coach is not easy. As Mickey said from the beginning, our process to select our next head coach would be thorough, deliberate, and fair. This comprehensive and focused process has brought us to the decision that we made and that we feel is the best decision for our organization and our millions of loyal Saints fans at this time. That brings me to announce our naming of Dennis Allen, our new head coach. We have watched Dennis grow within our organization, successfully coaching on every level of our defense and displaying tremendous leadership throughout his time with us. He joined our staff in 2006, right after Katrina, when many others, as Mickey has noted, were going elsewhere. Dennis came to New Orleans. Dennis has a deep knowledge of our culture here in the building because he has been part of creating that culture. He also understands the role our team plays in the community and how unique the relationship is between the team and our fans. Dennis's success as a defensive coach coordinator and even as acting head coach have proven he has the knowledge, discipline, passion, and ability to be a head coach in the NFL. We believe his time as head coach of the Oakland Raiders was an invaluable experience that has made him even more prepared to assume that role for our team. Dennis, you are very deserving, and you have earned this opportunity. You are a great leader, teacher, and coach, and you are the right person to bring this team into the future. I am so proud of you. I am thrilled to share this moment with you and your family, who are welcome today, and look forward to being with you for many years to come. In closing, I want to acknowledge the most important part of Dennis's life, his family. Not only have we watched Dennis grow professionally, but we have also watched his beautiful wife, Allison, grow from a young mom, always tending to Layla and Garrison, to now as a veteran NFL coach's wife. We welcome you all here today as part of our Saints family. The sacrifices you and your family have made to get to this day are significant, and I would like to thank you and your family for all you do to inspire and support Dennis and our team. You all have been part of our Saints family since 2006, and we are so happy you will continue to be such a vital part of that family for many years to come. Congratulations again, Dennis, on this well-earned position. Thank you all, and now I would like to introduce Mickey Loomis.
Well, it's been a minute since I had to do this last time. I was thinking today that there have been more U.S. presidents and more popes than we've had coaches over the last number of years over my tenure. First of all, I want to thank Mrs. Benson for trusting us to identify the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Thank you, Mrs. B. I want to thank Michael Parrington, Kai Harley, Jeff Ireland, and Dennis Lauscher for participating, first of all, for helping me determine the process that we used to identify the candidates that we interviewed, for participating in the interviews, and for ultimately making the final decision. I can't tell you how comforting it is to have 4 really smart football people helping make a decision of this magnitude. It's a president and 3 future GMs as far as I'm concerned. I also want to thank the candidates, Doug Peterson, Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Darren Rizzi, and Eric Bieniemy. These guys were all magnificent candidates, magnificent coaches, and we would, like any team, be lucky to have any one of them as a head coach. I really appreciate their time and effort. Look, we selected Dennis Allen, and we selected him because of his leadership skills, because of his teaching skills, because of his football acumen, and frankly, he's just a damn good football coach. We interviewed him for 6 hours last week, but the truth is, we've been interviewing him for 12 of the last 16 years. We hated it when he left in 2011, and we couldn't have been more excited than when he returned to us in 2015. He's been instrumental in all of the success that we've had over the last 16 years. We are grateful for Allison, and we're grateful for Garrison and Layla, who are true New Orleanians in the family because they've spent most of their life here. I couldn't be more honored, more excited than to introduce the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Dennis Allen.
Wow, that's some tough stuff to follow right there. Listen, this is just a tremendous day for me and my family. We're obviously totally ecstatic about having the opportunity to be the next head coach of the New Orleans Saints. I want to thank Mrs. Benson, Nikki, Dennis Lauscha, the search committee, Kai, Jeff, Michael. I appreciate the thoroughness of the search, and yeah, because I think it was a little over 6 hours, to be honest with you, Mickey. But man, I appreciate and understand the decision that you had to come to, and I know the magnitude of that decision. I know how important it is to this organization and really to this city, and I don't take that responsibility lightly. And I appreciate the fact that you chose me to lead this organization. Being a football coach takes a lot of time away from your family. There's a lot of ups and downs that go along with being a football coach. I wish it was all roses, but it's not always that way. And so there's a lot of things that your family has to deal with. And for me to be standing here today, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my family. So I appreciate my wife Allison, my son Garrison, my daughter Layla. Thank you so much for always being there and encouraging me and really just going through this roller coaster ride of what it means to be an NFL football coach. I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of great head coaches throughout my career. Every single one of them has had a huge impact on me as a person, me as a man, and me as a football coach. And I want to thank all of those guys for being there for me and teaching me what it really is to be a coach. I want to say a special thank you to a man that I got an opportunity to be with for 12 of the last 16 years, as Mickey just said, a guy that I got a chance to really see up close what it is really to be really what I consider a Hall of Fame football coach, and that's Sean Payton. Sean brought me here with his first staff in 2006. I was a little lowly assistant in Atlanta. Kind of went kicking and screaming a little bit, but I came, and it was the greatest thing from a professional standpoint. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and I've learned so many lessons here, being a part of his staff and really getting a chance to watch him up close and personal. I I want to say thank you to all the assistant coaches that I've had a chance to work with over my career. Without their tireless work ethic and dedication, I wouldn't be able to be here. This isn't something that you accomplish on your own. And then finally, and probably most importantly, I want to thank the players. A coach is only as good as the players that he puts out on the field. And behind every great coach is a lot of really, really good players. And again, I've been fortunate to be around a lot of really good players that, really have committed to the game of football and helped me along the way. And really, I'm standing here really kind of on their shoulders right now. And I want to just really say a special thanks to the players that I've had an opportunity to work with over the last 7 years here in New Orleans. The city of New Orleans is one of the more passionate and energetic cities in all of the world. I love this fan base. I want our team to mirror this fan base. I want our team to have the same passion and energy that this fan base has. I can tell you this, our team is going to be tough, our team is going to be smart, and our team is going to be highly competitive. And we're going to play with a passion and an energy that our opponents are either unwilling or unable to match. And that's what the New Orleans Saints are going to be about. Again, I'm excited about this opportunity. I understand that there's a lot of work to be done. I know that we have a great foundation in place, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm looking forward to building on the winning tradition of the New Orleans Saints. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Dennis, how much did you wonder if you'd ever get a second chance at being a head coach?
Look, I can't say that those thoughts didn't ever enter into my mind, but I've never really been about what's the next opportunity. I've really been about being in the here and now and trying to do the best job that I can at what I'm doing at that moment in time. And so I was really concerned with trying to be the best defensive coordinator that I could be for the New Orleans Saints. And when you do those things, then good things happen. And so I was excited to get this opportunity to interview for the job, and went for it.
What did you feel like you learned from the previous experience?
Well, look, there's a lot of things that you learn. I mean, I would say this about the previous experience is that it was a totally different set of circumstances. I was a 39-year-old head coach at that point in time. And I think, it was just, there was different circumstances with that experience. I know this, I know that I'm excited about this organization. I love this organization. I've been a part of it for 12 of the last 16 years. I was telling Mrs. Benson today that this is, I've been able to be in a few places, and this is as quality of an organization as there is in the National Football League. And so I'm just really excited about, being here today.
Dennis, you know this building well. What kind of decisions have you made so far about a staff?
Yeah, I don't know that we've come to any concrete decisions about everything. I do think that we have a lot of great pieces in place. I think that's one of the unique things about this job. I believe Mickey may have said this before, but this was not a broken job. This is a job that is a desirable job. This is a job that has a foundation and a culture of winning that's already been built. And so my job, as I see it, is, man, I want to try to build on that. I want to try to continue this winning tradition, and I don't see this as something where we need to have a ton of change.
When you follow someone like Sean, how do you sort of balance continuing the tradition but putting your own stamp on it?
Well, look, I think you learn from the experience of watching Sean, but at the end of the day, one thing I do know, okay, is that when you get put in a position like this, you have to do it your way, and you have to be yourself. And so look, I'm going to come to work every day, and I'm going to be me, and I'm going to put my own little spin on it. But yet, man, there's a lot of things that we've done really, really well here, and I want to be able to continue those things, and I just want to be able to put my little spin on it.
Dennis, what is your vision?
How big is it, do you think, is to, as you said, follow a Hall of Fame coach? And how much responsibility personally do you feel, knowing your legacy with the team here, to keep that going?
Well, look, I think that's a huge responsibility, but I think I'm looking more at it as I want to take the lessons that I've learned. I want to build upon those lessons, okay, and I want to create my own legacy here with the New Orleans Saints, and so I know this is a job that you have to do with your own personality, and that's the way I plan on attacking it.
Dennis, what is your vision as far as defensive play calling? You know, Sean Payton was the head coach, but he's offensive coordinator, kind of calling plays. What is your vision and your role in it? Mainly setting up the game plan, or what?
Yeah, I think that's stuff that we're going to determine over the next few days. But yet, I was telling somebody before, it's hard to turn your baby over. You know what I mean? And so I see myself, still, being heavily involved there and heavily involved with the game plan and even potentially the play calling.
And how much does it mean to you to get this opportunity here? Just considering this is kind of where you...
Yeah, no, to me, this is the perfect fit. It's the perfect fit because I know the people here. I know the administration here. I know the players here. I know the support staff here. I know the coaches here. I understand all the culture that's here in this building, and so there's a comfortableness to making this move. And man, I just think if I could have laid at home at night and dreamt about where would be the one place that I would want to be the head coach, it'd be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Dennis, you mentioned being 39 when you got the Oakland job. 10 years later, how would you say you're better prepared for this maybe now than you were 10 years ago?
Yeah, way more experience. Way more experience. Seen a lot of different things. Had a lot of opportunity to lead a lot of men. When I went to Oakland, I was a one-year coordinator and got an opportunity to go be a head coach. And so now I've been back here, basically in a coordinator's role here in New Orleans for 6.5 years and getting a chance to watch, how Sean operates. And so I've just seen a lot more. I've just been through a lot more, experienced a lot more, been through a lot of winning since that time. So yeah, I just think it just comes with the territory. The more you do something, the better you get at it.
Dennis, obviously known for defense, but there's certainly a question mark going into the season at quarterback. What's kind of your philosophy with that position stylistically? I mean, how much do you want? I mean, do you have a plan for that? How you want to see maybe an offense run?
Well, look, I would say this. I would say that I don't see the offense being run too dissimilarly to what we've been able to do in the past. I think, there's maybe a few things that we can tweak and do a few things a little bit differently. But look, I want the offense I want to be a physical offense. I want to be able to run the football. I want to be able to create explosive plays. I want to be a smart offense that doesn't have a lot of negative plays. I want to protect the football, and I want to be good situationally. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about doing that. So we're going to be a good offense. We're going to be able to put some points on the board. We're going to be explosive. We're going to be exciting.
Dennis, do you think initially you would be involved with the personnel as much as Sean Payton was? As far as
Yeah, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's one of the major roles of the head coach, is to be heavily involved in the personnel, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes. No matter what you do, you're going to be compared to the guy who was in front of you. And that's going to go on, especially in the first year, all year long. Have you made peace with that, or do you care, or?
Yeah, I think I'm at peace with that. look, I understand what the expectations are here, but those are the expectations in our league. And I look at it as what a great example to follow. And so, yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Dennis, you said you haven't made all your coaching staff decisions, but what are you thinking or going over in the next few days?
Well,
with the offensive
look,
coordinator spotted?
I don't really want to get into any specifics on that right now. I think that's something, look, I just was informed yesterday that I was going to get the job. So, you know, I mean, I think we may be 24 hours into this thing. So I think there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And I just would say, look, we got talented staff, and you know, I like a lot of the things that we've done.
And is there anything you learned about that aspect of the job in particular in Oakland? Because I know in your first couple of years you went through 3 or 4 different quarterback ideas. Was that something that kind of stalled things for you?
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously I keep saying this, you know, there's a lot of different circumstances that went through that first opportunity for me, and I learned a lot from it. And so I think being put in a position like this where there's the ability to keep some continuity within what you're doing on the team and within the organization, I think is important.
What have the last 2 weeks been like, just from Sean retiring to now? Has it been as much of a whirlwind as it feels like?
Yes. Yeah, it has. You know what I mean? Like, you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about it. You go to bed, you're thinking about it. And so, you know, and you got, you know, a family at home, and they're thinking about the same thing, and you got a bunch of people within the organization, and they're thinking a lot of the same things. Yeah, it's stressful. It really is. But that's part of the business. That's part of what we deal with.
Dennis, did you grow up in Texas dreaming of being a coach like this at this level?
I'll say this, I wanted to be a coach from the time I was in 7th grade. I think coaches have had a tremendous influence on my life, from, you know, my dad coaching all my Little League teams to junior high coaches, high school, and really, quite honestly, Jeff, you know, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a high school coach when I grew up, and I had a chance to go play college ball. I wanted to be a college coach and didn't really have any ambition to be in the NFL. And, you know, R.C. Slocum told me one day, he said, you get your tail to the National Football League as fast as you can. I did exactly what he told me to do. And really, look, I just wanted to coach football, work really hard, and do my job. And I think when you do those things, good things happen.
Dennis, your defense has been real high energy, celebrating after plays, and that. Like, how much does that attitude, you think, help build and fuel success? And is that something you want to kind of spread throughout when you talk about like the attitude of the city and all of that?
Well, I think this. I think your team's going to feed off of your personality, and that's my personality. That's the way I go about doing my job. That's the way I've coached the defense here, and I don't see that being, you know, any differently. And I just think our team. Look, I think you saw it in the Tampa Bay game. I think you saw a passion and an energy and in the way that our team's going to play.
Because I know you're talking about being focused on being a defensive coordinator, but as you're kind of going through these years, do you pick up and annotate things to say like, all right, I have to get this opportunity, this is how I want to do things?
Yeah, certainly, yeah, you do. It gets back to that, you know, experience factor, and there's things that, you know, each year you're kind of just making, whether it's physical notes or mental notes about things that, you know, maybe you would, you know, continue to do, or maybe some things that you might do differently.
How good do you feel like this roster is to continue to make the playoffs?
Well, I think it's really close when you really look at what we were able to do this season. You know, finishing the season out 9-8 and just missing the playoffs and dealing with a lot of the injuries and things that we dealt with. I think this team's really close. And we've won more games in the National Football League in the regular season than 30 other teams, you know. So, you know, 5 consecutive winning seasons, 4 years in the playoffs. I think we're close.
And just when you interviewed for this job, what did you want to convey for the team? Like, what was kind of the one thing you wanted to make sure that they understood about you as a head coach?
To convey to,
Mickey, Kai, everybody's interviewing you for this job. Like,
look, I think my biggest message to them really was, as Mickey said, that I felt like I was the best guy for the job. I felt like that my knowledge of this organization, my knowledge of this team, and just the fact that, I think I closed out saying to them that, I don't know how you thought I did in this 6.5-hour interview, but I've been interviewing for 12 of the last 16 years. And I felt like that my body of work here in New Orleans more than qualified me to do this job.
Dennis, are you going to take the humble approach now, an interim head coach, with all of a sudden you shut out Tampa Bay and Tom Brady ended shutouts in 2006, and you didn't want to take any credit? Is that just your role? Or will you show maybe...
That's me.
And you won't be as humble, maybe?
That's me.
Okay.
That's me.
I like this quote when you said, "This is the ultimate team game. It's played by individuals, but games are won as a team."
Yeah.
So is that...
It's about the team. And no individual is bigger than the team. No coach is bigger than the team. Everything's about the team. And I think, Bobby, I think the best leaders have a humble heart. And like I said before, I'm going to be me. That's the only thing I know how to be, is be me. When you watch me coach out there, it's firm, it's demanding, it's energetic, all right? But at the end of the day, my job is to put guys out there in positions to have success. The players are the one that go out there and win games. They're the ones that do it. My job is to help them, and that's the way I look at it.
Why do you think RC saw you as an NFL coach instead of college, maybe, when he told you to go to the NFL?
I just think he felt like the NFL was the elite of the elite, and I think he felt like that was a place that I deserved to be.
Can you talk about your defensive kind of influences, philosophically, RC, defense wrecking crew at Tuberville's at DC,
Yeah.
Bill Bennett?
Yeah, so look, like I've been in some defensive environments. Look, my dad played, I know nobody wants to hear this, but he played 5 years for the Falcons. And so, I grew up in a football family. I grew up in a defensive-minded football family. And then, look, Coach Slocum was a big influence in my life. I got a chance to be with Wade Phillips and spent some time with Wade Phillips. Greg Williams was an influence in terms of how I go about, coaching defense and some of those philosophies. So I've been fortunate to be around some really good defensive coaches.
What are some, I know you adapt your defense around the personnel that you have, but what are some staples that you consider, this is part of your defensive philosophy?
Oh, well, some of them I can't say in this room. But yeah, look, it's not about what you play, it's about how you play. And this game is a tough, physical game. And that's the way you have to play it. And so that's kind of been the motto, that's kind of been the way that we've gone about playing defensive football. And that's really, like you ask our players, I tell them all the time, it's not about what you play, it's about how you play. And that's a culture that's developed over a period of time of continually doing the same thing over and over.
And then a lot of the teams here that have had success have had the big defensive line, a lot of four-man fronts, but a lot of big linemen, big linebackers. Is that because you've worked with the personnel and that's been an organizational philosophy, or that's how you like to approach it too?
Yeah, look, this is a big man's game. I think we've done a really good job, specifically over the last 5 years, of clear. I think we always did that offensively with Sean. of clearly identifying the vision for a player and how that player is going to fit into what we're doing. I think we've really done a much better job the last 5 years of really clearly identifying what we've been looking for in terms of a player. I think, Jeff, Michael, those guys do a great job in terms of personnel. But it's really about creating the vision for what we're looking for, and then really sticking to the prototypes as much as we can.
You were going through the whole interview process. What was the biggest, maybe the most difficult question the organization had for you as a candidate?
Ooh, there was a lot of them. Yeah, I think, I don't know that there was just a specific question. I just think sometimes the more abstract the question, the harder it is sometimes to answer, and the more concrete it is, a little bit easier it is to answer. And so I think the tougher questions usually are just kind of, some philosophical type stuff, but there were so many questions, I can't remember what they all were.
Well, 6.5 hours is a long time.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
Did your dad talk about being undefeated against the Saints as a player?
No, I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that.
And Dennis, can you take us through the moment when you first found out you got the job, and also when you first relayed that to your family, to your wife?
Yeah, I first found out when Mrs. Benson came into my office to let me know that I was going to be the next head coach, and it was great. I mean, she congratulated me, and then we spent probably 15, 20 minutes just sitting talking, and that's the nature of this organization. This organization is really all about the people, and it was just. It was a nice moment for us to just sit and talk and get a chance to visit about it. And then it kind of went to a whirlwind. I was down with Mickey for a minute, and then I went to go see Doug, and next thing I know, I got 93 text messages. So and then somewhere in there, I called Allison and told her that you can quit stressing now. We got the job.
Dennis, how important it is to have that quarterback of the defense like, when you were coaching DB, Jonathan Vilma, and now DeMario Davis, and that trust factor that being on the same wavelength going forward?
Well, yeah, I think it's big. I think it's big, and obviously those are things that don't just happen overnight. That kind of comes over the course of time a little bit, and when DeMario first came here, he was not that quarterback of the defense. He was the will linebacker and more the run and hit guy. And as things have evolved, we kind of moved him inside to the mic. He's kind of become that quarterback of the defense. He loves that role, and I love him in that role.
Between the interview and the hiring, was there any anxiety for you, or did you just kind of feel like?
Oh no, there was never any anxiety. Yeah, of course there was. You know what I mean? I felt like I was the best candidate for the job, but I knew there was a lot of other highly qualified people that were interviewing for the job, and so I knew that this was, for lack of a better term, I knew that this was a competition, and so yeah, there was always just a little bit of, I don't know if anxiety is the right word, angst, whatever that word might be.
Do you see any changes or tweaks with like the personnel philosophies or the scouting process, or a lot of your views on prototypes and all that, like in alignment with?
No, I think, look, it's been working. You know what I mean? And so what's not broke, let's don't try to fix it. And so I see there may be some things, with how we go about doing things, but I don't think from a fundamental philosophy standpoint, I don't really see that changing.
And as you, to follow up on Luke, when he was asking if you noticed some things and take some notes about being a better head coach, did you do that deliberately over the last 5-6 years? I know Sean talked a lot about doing that in his time with Parcells. Did you take the last 5-6 years? And I know you're focused on your job, but...
Yeah, I would say that I was much more perceptive to things that were going on around me than maybe I was before. And that's because I sat in that seat before. And so I wouldn't say that, I just sat down and took a lot of pen to paper all the time, but there's a lot of mental notes that took place.
Hey, Dennis, in the back. Sorry to ask about Alvin on this day of all days, but obviously not ideal right before you get hired to have a player of that significance in this kind of situation. Just wondered if you wanted to express any thoughts about him or this situation, or how you're going to start to deal with it.
Yeah, I think it's a situation where we're gathering some information, and I think it's really early for any sort of comment. I think we got to gather all the information before we have any sort of comment on that.
How important is the quarterback position and what you all do at that spot this offseason?
Well, I think it's the most important decision that you make, and so that's going to be one of the first things that we do is we get together as a staff, as an organization, and evaluate that position, and then we'll make the best decision for this organization that we think is the right thing for us moving forward.
Do you have a style for that? Or, I mean, because obviously the quarterback position has changed in the last few years.
There's a lot of different ways to do it, all right? But we want a winner. You know what I mean? Just a winner, a guy that's got tireless work ethic, a guy that can help lead men. That's what I see in the quarterback position, and so. But look, that's certainly something that we've got to figure out.
Obviously, you've learned a lot since 2014, grown a lot. But what's the biggest thing that you've learned about yourself, your coaching philosophy, or one of the biggest sticking points you've taken with you since?
Be you. Be you. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. And do this thing the way that you think is the right way to do it. And that's the only way, really, that I know that you can have success. And so that's probably the biggest thing.
Well, Dennis, with that being said, is that being you, is that yourself dancing in the locker room?
My family can attest, I'm not the greatest dancer. Okay, I'm a little bit more the wallflower than I am the dancer.
There's some videos, though. There's some videos of you dancing out there.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Back to the be you. When did you feel in your career that you could be yourself?
Well, look, I don't know that I can point to one specific moment that I was like, oh, I can be me. I think that's just, Sean used to say this all the time, confidence is born out of demonstrated ability. So I think as I began to realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this, then it became much more easy to just, relax and be me and do it the way that I knew how to do it.
Not to keep harping on your previous stint, but is this one of the lessons you learned from that?
Yeah.
Was that something you wrestled with?
Yeah. I think it was. And so yeah, I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned in my whole coaching experience.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Yeah, now that you've landed the job, what's the next priority for you here?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot. Certainly we've got to, make sure we've got the staff together. We've got free agency coming up. We've got the college draft. And so that's where, we hit the ground pretty much running. There's a lot of things that have to happen, over the next, call it 2 weeks to a month to kind of get ourselves going. And look, we're going to be a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights.
DA, how much do you think this means to the fans, the city, a lot of people who've been rooting for you to get this job?
Well, I guess I can't really speak for the city. I know that I'm excited about it, and I'm excited about leading this team, and I'm excited about representing our city. And I know this. I feel the passion and energy from our fans in the dome, on the streets, in the restaurants, And so certainly I hope they're excited about it, because I know that we're excited.
Thank you very much, Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us, especially the fans that have tuned in. If y'all could just remain in your seats, we're going to do a couple of photos. I'm going to ask first Ms. Benson to step up to the podium with Mickey and Coach. Thank you.
Yeah. Chase?
Yes,
Ready?